Love and peace. We're going to go over a lot of rare, very potent, some mysterious Moorish clippings. First, I would like to speak about this clipping though. You know, the limits of our studies. Certain kinds of blue cloth stamped holy are worn by wandering Moors of Africa who believe it makes them immune to disease. You know, as odd as this clipping is, you know, this is 1927. As odd as this clipping is, what makes it more odd is that this little 4-bar sentence is in the middle of this newspaper page, but there's nothing around it that is saying nothing about Moors. It's speaking of orchestras and theaters and different things. But this little 4-bar sentence, somebody chose to print it right here on this page with nothing else on the page having to do with Moors. You know, the limit of our studies, those who put out information like this and take the time to be in the middle of the night while the candle's burning and going through these limits of your brain turning to water. Why did somebody choose in 1927 to put this little 4-bar sentence in this page that has nothing to do with any stories of nothing? I've already said this, I've showed this once before, where somebody chose to put a little piece of information about Moors in the middle of a page that has nothing to do with anything. The limits of your brain while we do these studies, or the limit of your mind. But Drew Ali said your brain to water, so the limit of your brain doing these studies. Again, my only conclusion is that these European newspapers was contracting out to different printing presses to do their printing, and they would go with the best quality and the cheapest. And the Moors ended up with their printing presses, ended up doing some contracting work for these European newspapers, and they was putting this information on Moors in different pages, but you'd never notice just looking at the page. Because again, why is this put in the middle of a page unless Moors were doing the printing? That's the only conclusion. You know, Drew Ali said, pay attention to the newspapers. I'm going to make the European tell the truth. So he made them tell the truth if they was doing contracting and they was putting the information about Moors. But then you got European telling you about the stuff that was put into the newspaper right now. So that's another with Drew Ali saying, pay attention to the newspapers. I'm going to make the European tell the truth, stacked on top of each other, because I'm telling you about the European newspaper that's telling you about the Moors, but it makes no sense why it's there. It's in the middle of a bunch of nonsense. The limits of our brain when we're doing these studies in the middle of the night while the candle's burning, and it gets spooky and mysterious. You know, as far as spookism, I know what it means and all that, but that's the best way I can explain it. It gets very serious because there's things going on, whether you see purple smoke or whatever. That's what I see when I see things like this. But we have a lot of clips to go through, so we're going to go through young Moors form a society. The once fanatical pirate town of A.L.L.A.H, the younger set of French-educated Moors, have met together in the hall of the school for sons of notables, of which they are graduates, to form a literacy society. This is a remarkable step forward in the history of the region, for a wide program is planned. Conferences, a library, newspapers to be read, magazines subscribed for, and competitions in the writing of essays and poems. Officers were elected, and the brothers of the Pasha of A.L.L.A.H, M. Abu Bakr, was made president. The latter is already a well-known poet among the younger set, as is also the elder son of the distinguished Moor, C. Muhammad Haji. And remember, we did C. Ali and Haji, we did that demonstration. The meetings will be held in the library at the superb palace of the Pasha until club rooms have been selected. No European aristocracy is more exclusive than the old families of A.L.L.A.H, and it is rare that foreigners enter their houses. His Excellency's palace is one of the richest, and his library unusually valuable, containing many books in Arabic and French, which all that's the Moorish manuscripts. The Sharif C. Moulay, now you see how they spelled the Sharif with the CH? That's how it ended up being chief in the English newspapers. Chief was first Sharif. You see how it was spelled with the CH. The Sharif C. Moulay Idris El-Yahadi was particularly interested himself in the new venture and has obtained permission from the French officials. Permission from the French? Because they're occupied, for the young men to establish the society. Much satisfaction is felt by the authorities at their broad policy of guidance, but no interference with Moorish traditions and religious customs. Schools from 28 to 31. This is 1927. Christian Science Monitor. I repeat, Christian Science Monitor, 1927. This manuscript is 1918. As rulers, the Moors appear to have been mild and humane. It was rather an armed occupation than in colonization, and the people were under their own government, if anything better off, under the princes of their own blood. Freedom of creed was granted. The Christians were even allowed to administer their own laws. Through the ruling of the Christian judge might be overturned on appeal to the Moorish Tribunal. You hear that? Christianity is subject to the Moorish Tribunal. In Toledo, the Moorish rule was even milder than elsewhere, but stormy as ever. The city rose against one governor after another. Toledo wished to rule, not to be ruled. And finally, in 1085, after 350 years of Moorish dominion, the city was once more in the hands of the Christians. But the Moors have stamped their characteristics on Toledo in a way that cannot be erased. Philip II might destroy their inscriptions on the bridges and gates, but all signs of their presence could only be removed by razing the city to the ground. To the ground. Of work actually executed by the Moors, there remains little, but of the various periods of the Mu'ajjar style examples are many. Indeed, there is hardly an important building in Toledo, but bears some traces of Moorish influence, and that's all the way over into Toledo, Ohio over here, in St. Louis, Moorish Fair, all of that. So this was 1918. This clip is 1866, and it goes with the last one because they're talking about how different soils was exchanged back and forth by the Moors in European wars. It states right here, it enabled Ferdinand to recover the city of Cordova. Now, we covered this on the last live. And therewith the famous bells which had been carried off 300 years before by the Moors from the church of Santiago in Galicia. The Moors had placed them in their grand mosque at Cordova, turned with their mouths upward to serve as lamps, and remained shining mementos of the victory of Al-Hajj al-Manzur. Moorish captives were compelled to carry them on their shoulders to the church, whence they had been taken by the infidels. You hear that? So this went with the last one as far as the soil going back and forth between the Christian and Muslim wars, which it really was the Moors, but the Christians take it, then when the Moors take it back, they try to make it look like, oh, the Moors took our stuff. But let's go to the next clip. Now with this manuscript, I have one up on the Amexem Almanac shorts speaking about sheikmate, and there was comments talking about it was reaching, but right here, the Persian word sheik means king, the old Arabic or Moorish term. Mat or mate means dead or killed. Hence, the Mexican term Matamoros or Matamoros, where its name translated into English would be killed Moors, sheikmate or checkmate. So all of you that was doing the comments talking about, I was showing how sheik was what created checkmate and sheik is chess. Sheikmate or checkmate is therefore king dead, equivalent to beaten in the game of chess, because the Moors created chess and it's sheikmate. So all you that commented on that video, it's sheikmate on your ass. Now let's get to the next one. So this is the image of the entrance to the Moorish Treasury in Tangier. Again, this is the entrance to the Moorish Treasury in Tangier. Fear coming of conqueror. Morocco has often been represented as the most fanatical of all Mohammedan countries. And while it is true that the Moors wish to close the gates to their country to all foreigners, we're just going to leave this right here. Again, the image of the entrance to the Moorish Treasury in Tangier. Them not wanting Europeans. Look, we got clippings forever and ever. All of our studies documented indeed. We'll be doing a live maybe tomorrow on Holy Friday on A.L.L.A.H's Instagram, or maybe here. I don't know which one I'm going to do. I leave you in love and peace. Divine honors, divine respect to Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish divine and national movement of the world, Islamism.
Moorish Quran pages flip, no more civil litter. Water flowing fresh through that coconut filter. Olive Volteros match my turban goat sifter for the herb that I simmer. Strained in Muslim claw. Standing on my square, they'll have to chop my legs off. Many faces turn white and black, attacking nations. Rise from the grave and run this race we racing. Solid foundation, 5-point formation. They say no amalgamation, but my people is wasting away. Can you hear me, L? Can you hear me, babe? Can you hear me, day? To Allah I pray. A.L.L.A.H You better learn to love instead of hate. In this world, keep the square straight. A.L.L.A.H You better learn to love instead of hate. In this world, keep the square straight. A.L.L.A.H You better learn to love instead of hate. In this world, keep the square straight. A.L.L.A.H You better learn to love instead of hate. In this world, keep your square straight. Step into the temple, all I see is thistles and thorns. Throw the brush away, so the curtain that's torn. Put the charter on the wall, no signature at all. Just chapter 46, verse 9. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice shall be taught to all. You can give them all the notes, they'll forget it tomorrow. Like throwing stashes or sashes at fools. A trader's a trader, a coolie's a cool. A.L.L.A.H You better learn to love instead of hate. In this world, keep your square straight. A.L.L.A.H You better learn to love instead of hate. In this world, keep your square straight. A.L.L.A.H You better learn to love instead of hate. In this world, keep your square straight.